And this session is part of the Chamber to Community Back to Business NWA Series. For those of you who are joining for the first time, I'm Karen Wagaman, Vice President for Downtown Development with the Rogers-Lowell Area Chamber of Commerce. This new virtual series was created as a response to requests from members and member businesses seeking tools and tactics to help navigate through the COVID-19 pandemic. We have found this to be a really useful way to get more businesses involved in our training program and attract a lot of people to watch them, because not only is this YouTube available to you live as you are right now, but we're also going to be, we're going to put this on YouTube, and that will give you an opportunity to watch it again or share it with other folks. So I will send the link to everyone who has registered probably tomorrow or Monday, depending on when our marketing team gets it uploaded. So now I do want to thank our community builder sponsors who are making this series possible. They are Cox Communications and Chambers Bank. And of course, we want to thank Woodridge Interactive for providing the program. Today's subject matter experts from Woodridge Interactive are John Allen and Rick Headland. They are sharing their marketing expertise to help you tell your story by creating compelling videos using your phone. John Allen is the founder and CEO of Woodridge Interactive. He created the business to help Walmart suppliers thrive in the challenging world of e-commerce. Rick Headland is his creative director at Woodridge Interactive. Rick leads creative strategy, and his team produces lifestyle, product videos, and photography for major brands found on walmart.com. So thank you, John and Rick, for providing information and to assist our participants in telling their stories and creating great videos on a budget.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. Thanks to the Chamber and our sponsors today. First we want to get in and talk a little bit about some of those tips for businesses that are on a budget. If you're, bootstrap startup like our company was, that means, you don't have a venture capitalist behind you funding it. So how can you do things effectively and at a price point that you can tolerate? So a couple of things we'll talk about today. One is so many companies or businesses, individuals, the thought of creating a video is just a bit overwhelming. It seems complicated. It seems like it's expensive. It can be, is it difficult to upload it? Is it difficult to shoot it? What do I even need? And do I even really have anything to say? So some of those questions, we'll answer those for you today. And so we'll talk about why your business needs video marketing to begin with, why it's important. What do you really need to create that budget-friendly video that's going to be effective? And so we'll also share some great tips on creating a winning video. And then we'll talk about the three, if you don't think you have anything to say, we'll talk about those 3 videos every business needs to create. So go to the next slide, please.
All right.
So, if we just talk about it, by the numbers, why do you need video marketing and why it's important? And, the world is changing every day. People's habits are changing every day. And from a marketing perspective, what we've learned is, 72% of shoppers, they prefer to learn about products and videos, services using a video. Before I purchase something, I'll go Google it. I'll go find a video on YouTube or somewhere else so I can really, put it in my own hands virtually and find out what it's all about. So consumer education is a huge reason why that's so important. And, that leads, of course, to, the path to purchase. You've got users that say that videos of their products and services are helpful in the decision-making process. And 90% of the people, that's how they make a purchase. And so let's talk a little bit about, conversion increases. So from the difference between a shopper and a purchaser, it's a 64% increase in purchasing. If you've watched a video, it's going to lead to a purchase. And the other piece is, it's such an important part of an overall marketing strategy for your business. 94% of all businesses use video as an important part of their overall marketing strategy. That's up from 78% just 5 years ago. And, we always want to get to the decision makers. That's the people who are going to make the buy decision for us. And 75% of executives watch work-related videos on business website at least once a week. So you're really getting to that core market. Now, for those of you that spend a lot of time crafting an email, having email marketing campaigns, sometimes return rate can just be miserable. The best way you can possibly increase your click-through rate into your sites is with a video. It's going to lead to a 200 to 300% increase in click-through rates for you. So I'm going to hand it off to Rick. He's our resident expert here, and he'll tell you a little bit about exactly what's needed to create that video for your business.
Yeah, and so like John was saying, many businesses are totally willing to embrace the fact that having a video will have a huge impact on their bottom line. There's a lot of reservations that people have in delving into videos and delving into having that creative media to support your brand and support your products. There's a lot of concern about like cost of equipment and production. You don't feel entirely comfortable being the person on screen. You're not really sure how to upload and edit the videos. Kind of asking the questions, where do I start? What do I need? And what videos do we need to produce? And so, talking about what you need, fortunately it's, 2020, and basically everyone has a smartphone in their pocket. And that's kind of what we're talking about today is how to make that budget-friendly video with tools that you have. And then maybe just a couple things, if you can throw a little bit of money at, you can be able to make some great video on a small budget. The cameras that are built into the iPhone and Androids and any smartphone that we can get are very, very high quality, especially compared to things that were, standard 10 years ago. Better resolutions, better bit rates of how it controls or how it actually records the video. There's a lot of improvement that have happened just in the last 10 years. So really, to make a killer video, you just need the iPhone and maybe iMovie or something like that, just an edit program to be able to make quick sales videos, video voicemails and follow-ups and social media posts and things like that. So to be able to make those videos and be able to get your message out there and get your story out there, there's a few things that if you can spend some money on that would help you a lot in making those videos. First, we'll start out with getting a tripod with a cell phone adapter. It keeps the video looking steady, helps if you have somebody that's possibly not great with the camera, if they're trying to hold the camera for you and they get their finger in the shot for you, and that just looks unprofessional. But if you get the tripod, it's something that you can set up once, pull it to where, set it at eye level, make sure that your shot looks great. You can shoot everything that you need with that. And it also makes it to where it's like very mobile. You can move it around. You can put it over, this side, that side, and frame up your shot the way that you're looking for it to come across. Controlling lighting is a big thing too, because then you're not stuck with how weather is for the day, if it's overcast or if it's raining, and you're relying on outdoor lighting to get your video shot. If you could just buy some continuous lighting kit, you can control the light that you're lighting your video with. And then getting your message across audio-wise, it would be great to just look into getting an omnidirectional lav mic. A lav mic is the little mic that they put on your collar here or on your shirt to just pick up solely what you're talking about and not picking up everything that's in the background. Being that we're in downtown Rogers, we have a train that goes by about every hour. So having something where you're close micing your subject would be the best possible scenario, so especially for things down here. So yeah, and all those things are available on Walmart, walmart.com. You can just pick those up, and it's not a huge expenditure. So we're going to delve into tips for creating an awesome video with your iPhone. So this is my little thing that I've made up, and it's probably dates my references here, but if you remember ALF, A-L-F, and no, I'm not talking about that ALF, but audio, lighting, and framing. If you master those three things, or even just pay attention to those three things, you will have a great looking video, great sounding video, and it will help you in getting those people from being a shopper into a purchaser. So we kind of talked about audio, you know, having that close mic type thing. And yes, it's very important, because I kind of believe that like 90% of a good video is a good audio. Because if you have bad audio, people are going to scroll right past you. They're going to listen to a little bit and go, oh, that sounds terrible. But if it sounds good and is engaging audio-wise, you can get away with having just okay video. And I don't want to sit here on audio for too long, because we talk about a little bit later too, you need to have your message transcribed, because it shows that there's studies that show that, like, you know, 40% of videos, 47% of videos get played without audio. So getting a transcription service in the mix there is killer. You need to do it. And it's really cheap these days to be able to do that. Lighting, having that lighting kit will help you immensely, because you can control the lighting that's around your subject. So if you've got the 3-point lighting system, you've got a key light that you want, that basically just, you know, is the front light for your person. It's the main light that you're looking at. You should have that at 100%, as bright as it can be. But what that's going to do is it's going to create some shadows. So like on the nose, you'll see some shadows over here. That's why you have a second light called the fill light. And that's at 50%. And it comes from another angle and just fills in those shadows. And then if you have the third light, you can set that up as a backlight. And you don't want that to be that bright. You just want to use that light to set your subject off of the background a little bit, so that it adds depth to your shot, which makes your shot look better overall. Next, we're going to go into framing. So for framing, framing to me is focus, is placement of your subject in the screen, like knowing where you're going to be sending this video. If you're going to be putting it on Instagram, if it's going to go on, you know, if you're shooting a commercial or something that's going to be on TV, there's different outputs that you need to pay attention to while you're shooting and framing your video. So if you think about that when you're setting up from the beginning, it will help you a lot in the edit phase of making that video. And we'll talk a little bit more about that framing coming here in a minute. But if you pay attention to these three things and make sure that you have good audio, good lighting, and good framing, that's the basics of having a great video. So that takes care of the technical aspects of all those things. Just little notes: keeping your speaker as close to the camera as possible. That will make it to where the background gets more blurred out, and you'll have more depth of field in the shot. So essentially, like, I would be in focus, but that back wall would be kind of washed out. So that just makes it more engaging, makes people stop and look. And it helps because it helps the customer see that you care about your product, you care about what you're talking about, makes that connection that you're looking for to be able to make, like, your business feel like a smaller business, that people could walk in and talk with you, and it gives that personal connection to your customer. Keep your background simple. Don't have a whole bunch of stuff. Don't try to throw all of your greatest products and everything behind you, and then, you know, have people shopping and doing things like that. all that that's going to do is probably distract your customer from focusing on what you're talking about. Keep your location consistent. Just consistency in like your location where you shoot. One, it's going to help you with the tools that you're going to use. You know how to light that better. You know what time you need to, you know, mic up because you know the train comes at noon type thing. It helps if you keep that location consistent and you're not trying to plan around things that you have no idea when it's happening. So going to the next part. So now let's talk about how to kind of spice your video up and not just stick with like a one shot, one, you know, look video. So we'll talk about the rule of thirds. And this lovely lady right there is my wife. I forced her to let me take a picture of her. But anyway, so the rule of thirds is you split your frame into a 3x3 grid. So as you can see in that picture, there's a little blue lines. And so you've got that 3x3 grid, 3 columns and 3 rows. And if you try to position your subject's face in one of those connecting intersections, it makes your video a little bit more engaging. It makes it to where you can have one side open to be able to like put up your phone number, your email address or website, that type of thing, that you can add media in that spot, or you can leave it open and show your product behind you, and it makes it more engaging. You can also, you know, plan out your video shoot to where like you start with a shot with you in the center, and then, you know, after you say like, "Hi, my name is Rick and I'm with Woodridge Interactive," and then cut to me being on the third over to the side. And so it keeps it new, it keeps it popping, it engages your customer into to have them pay more attention, more close attention to what you're saying. So you can kind of change things up a little bit, and it doesn't have to be just like you set your phone, you hit go, and that's it. So planning these things out in advance kind of helps you make your video more engaging and creative feeling. So we don't think that you should script everything out, because oftentimes it comes across as fake. And so we kind of, like when we're shooting videos, we try to just go with an outline. So we have little, you know, spots where like, here, you're going to talk about this for a minute. You're going to talk about this. Scripting it out, it kind of doesn't help the situation, doesn't help your viewer know that you are the expert on the situation. You know all that there is to be about whatever your product is. If you're just sitting there reading something, it becomes a little disingenuous. So yeah, building some sort of outline kind of helps you stay on task as well. So a few more tips for lighting. Staying away from windows. The sun comes out and it goes away, the clouds come over and everything looks great, and then, you know, a car pulls up and their lights come on. Just staying away from windows, trying to control the lighting situation as much as possible is always the best for making that video. We tried to shoot one yesterday and we didn't use that. We shot in our lobby, and like literally we set up and started going, and then someone tried to come in and the train came by, and then like lights came on. It's like, we're just trying to shoot a 1-minute video, people, come on. So anyway, staying away from windows is always a good idea. Having a clean background. So having some sort of like, you know, what we have set up here is a blue wall, a white wall. It's clean, it's concise, there's not a whole bunch of things going on. And also paying attention to what is in the background. Like if you have a trash can sitting there, you don't want that in your video. You don't want your customer to see a trash can, because somewhere in the back of their mind, they're going to relate your business to trash or something like that. So just paying attention to what's in your shot and what the overall look is going to look like. Moving on to B-roll footage. What B-roll is essentially like just background. It's, you know, I talk about shooting a video with an iPhone, and then we have a video of someone on an iPhone scrolling through, doing little things like that. When you talk about a product, you can have B-roll, background roll of that product. Somebody picks up the bag, looks at it, turns it around, so that your customer kind of feels like they're putting their hands on your product or whatever you're trying to sell with that video. And it just makes it a little bit more engaging for that customer. So yeah, sorry, I'm moving through here. Practice sessions. You're gonna want to set up, see what works, see what doesn't work. You know, pay attention to all the outside things that can happen and try to figure out ways around those things. So you're gonna want to shoot things like 3 or 4 times. And I kind of equate that to like a movie being shot. You know, a lot of us are kind of like, oh, that's the greatest actor in the world. He's so great. Yeah, but he shot that scene of that movie 550 times. Yes, of course, it's going to look great when they're sitting there doing that and editing. And, you know, he has all that time to go through it, but we have an expectancy on us to be like a one-hit wonder. We get in there, we do it, and we're done. It's like, no, that's not a good expectation to have. You want to set up, you want to practice, you want to prepare, rehearse what you're going to say, go in, set your camera, do it 3, 4 times, however long it takes to get your message across. That's very important, is to get that out there and get them to know you. Moving on to the platforms. So there's a lot of platforms, there's a lot of things that keep changing daily. Instagram, I was trying to figure out all the different outputs and how videos play and how this plays. It's daunting, but anyway, overall, if you shoot things horizontally, meaning that you have your phone turned this way and you shoot more like a TV screen, you'll be good. There are things where like Instagram stories, IGTV, IG lives, all of those things, that's set up for more of a vertical palette. But if you focus on shooting things in horizontal, you'll be able to, I mean, you can edit videos from horizontal to the vertical stage, and you can, you know, edit those and move things around to be able to get the best looking video possible. But kind of going down to like the Instagram posts, so 60 seconds or less, you can have your video as an Instagram post. But once it goes over 60 seconds, it's going to kick it to an IGTV. So even though the IGTV is more set for like a vertical palette, the horizontal post will be able to play in that vertical player too. But you want to essentially see, I kind of equate this to like, say you're taking out an ad in a magazine. Do you want, and this is the magazine, the iPhone, do you want a half-page ad, a quarter-page ad, or a full-page ad? They all cost the same amount. They're all, whatever you're going to put into it, they're the same amount. So you want to think about those outputs and be able to shoot your video and edit it to where it's as big as possible on that screen. Because as people are scrolling through, as you see to the right here, there's my wife again, sorry, I just have pictures of her and that's it. She's taking up most of that screen when you're scrolling through. Now, if I posted a picture in horizontal here, it would only be this big. And then there's another post coming right after it in the section that she would be in. So making it to where you're eating up as much of that screen as you can with your ad or with your post, whatever that is vital to making sure that you're using most of that landscape that you have there. So we're going to go into kind of more into the social media platforms. And I'm going to throw that to John here.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. So social media platforms have just invested millions of research dollars into finding out exactly what consumers are looking for and what marketers were doing in videos and what works and what doesn't. So what they've asked is what consumers are watching and engaging with and how marketers are reaching those audiences with videos. Let's dive into the findings a little bit. So 39% of consumers are more likely to finish videos with subtitles. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is a lot of cases people aren't listening with the sound on. Imagine you're in a work environment. That's one of the things I think about. So they're changing their habits. And then 85% of Facebook videos watched with the sound off. There you go again. That's why subtitles are expensive or so needed. And then 73% of consumers are deciding in less than 30 seconds if they're going to watch the end of the video. Now, in the first 15 seconds, 43% of those people decided whether they're going to continue or not. So you've got to get their attention right off the bat. Now, this basically explains why marketers using so many closed captions. 51% of videos now have closed captions. So consider that as part of your overall strategy. And as far as we were just talking about the formats of whether it's horizontal or vertical, well, now almost 40% of marketers are creating square videos or vertical, for instance, to eat that real estate up, as we were talking about. So here's another important tip. It makes a world of difference. And so we talked earlier about setting that scene that's consistent. I always think of Mr. Rogers at the opening of the show, right? You always know he's going to be sitting there, he's going to be putting on his slippers. Everybody knows to expect that. That consistency helps build trust, relatability with people. They like habits, they like seeing things the same way, to a point, I'd say. So that's why it's so important to have a content calendar. That's where, you have to do a little research to begin with to find out where your customers are going to be on social media and what time they're there. And there's just tons of resources out there where you can find out where your type of client lives and what time they're actually watching. So, that calendar, you want to dial it right into when you're going to have an audience. You don't want to play to an empty room. You want to play to a full room. So that's so important. But that said, with so much science that says having a content calendar is so important, all the marketers understand that intellectually, but they just don't always put that into practice. It's been proven time and time again that, content marketing works for organizations that, one, they have consistent posting. Have a documented strategy, have a plan, stick to it, be consistent, watch your metrics, and then rinse and repeat. It works every time. So let's talk a little bit about, you hear time and time again, people say, well, if I'm going to do videos, I don't really know what to even say about our business or me. So let's dive into that just a little bit. First 3 videos every business should focus on, and these can be in any order. One is you talk about the product explainer. This is a very popular way to connect with your audience. These are those short little clips that explain your product or service quickly and succinctly. It's ideal introducing a product or service to your audience, what your offering is, showing them how it works and how it's going to make their lives easier. And whether you're a plumber or you have a shop here on Main Street, downtown Rogers, it works time and time again. The second type is that customer testimonial. Okay, so you don't think you're good on camera. You don't like how you look on camera. You don't like the sound of your own voice. A customer testimonial is a great way to work around that. That's where you let your customer really tell your story, and that's so impactful with your audience. This customer testimonials, that they're going to show your client talking about your brand, about your product, about the service they had, about what a great experience they had working with your people and your company. It just brings the story alive. And they help a lot when you need to build that trust with your brand, your new business. You want to get noticed. It's going to really inform your target audience about how great your product and service really is. Next one, I loved what Karen had sent out this week and the chamber email talking about an origin story. And that's what we're talking about here. It's your company story. Having a great company story really lets show off what makes your company and your business so special and unique on a human level. And really no other medium can do that. You can't really do that with a photograph. You can't do it with copy and other solutions, but it's a great way to bring your story alive. When people can really associate that face with that story, with that name of the business, they're going to remember it and they're going to help build a strong connection to it as well.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite part of videos.
Yeah.
Is delving into the story of like how someone built their business from, you know, even back from their childhood and their dad did something, and then like just seeing how the story comes from that all the way to what they are now. So
or how about a guy that had a $300 laptop from Walmart, a cup of coffee from down here at Iron Horse, and a really good plan, and somehow built that into a successful business here in downtown Rogers. That really happened, folks.
Yeah. So anyway, so I think we're to the Q&A part.
Yeah. So, you know, if anybody has any questions, we left plenty of room. If you've got some specifics for your business, your situation that you need answers to, we're here for you.
I often encourage people to participate in news media opportunities, press releases, things like that. And I think working on your own videos would probably better prepare them for those opportunities when they come up. I mean, we're always looking for good news stories to share with the media with the permission of our member businesses. And when you talk about the B-roll, I explain to them, well, you know, they aren't going to be just shooting your face the whole time. You know, if they're doing a 40-second spot, I said they're going to be capturing the B-roll footage and you might be on camera 5 or 6 seconds or something like that. So that seems to make people more comfortable. So I think it's helpful to encourage people to do these things, but know that they're in control with the B-roll and with the testimonials and things like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Can you tell us some different, I think you mentioned one of the iPhone, iMovie forms. So do you do all of that from your phone, or do you do it, start with the video on your phone and then do the editing on your computer?
No, so with iMovie, you can do all of the editing on your phone. That's basically what it's built for, is to keep it all in-house. There's some things that you can't do with that, but I found that it is stellar when you're just trying to do a quick video, an update video or something like that. There's a whole ton of music that you can add to the background. It's all royalty free. You don't have to pay for it. I think the app is, I think when I bought it, it was $6, $6 or $7. It's really cheap. But there's just a lot that you can do with that. You can, you know, shoot video, cut it up, move pieces around, add the B-roll, add second layers of things. There's a lot that you can do with iMovie. And that's not the only option. There's a ton of other things. Just go to the App Store and put in, you know, movie editor, and you'll see that there's like 100,000 movie editing programs. But that's the one that I use for things when we're just doing a quick little 30-second video that doesn't need a ton of production. I'd edit all that in iMovie.
Nice. Do any of our participants have questions, ideas? I know there's a lot of creative people on here. Okay, maybe not. We may be wrapping up pretty quick. Well, if there's some notes in the chat, let me take a look. Sandra. Okay, so Sandra's asking, where do we purchase? Oh, Walmart, thanks. Yeah, that was their plug for the walmart.com where they work. One of their big clients.
One here that appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, hi, everyone. This is Shirla.
Hi, Shirla.
Hey, hey guys. So let me do this so you can see my pretty face.
There you are.
Yeah, I'm
Joe,
working.
Edie's
Um,
Caribbean flavor.
yeah, good
Yeah.
food. Yeah, so you spoke about the video. Just yesterday, my daughter and I was speaking about something like that for like IG. Um, if you don't have an iPhone, what would you recommend for like a Android type platform?
Yeah, so if you have an Android, there's the camera that's built into the Android is a great camera as well.
Mhm.
There's multiple apps. There's tons of apps that you can download to be able to edit your video as well. Like I know Adobe has one called Rush, I believe, like Premiere Rush.
Yeah, Rush.
Yeah, it's a good one, and it's really like if you search for it, the best possible one is probably the one that's going to pop up at the top, and that's probably going to be your best bet. And for ease of use, to be able to use whatever is like the going standard per se is just
Okay.
whatever that top one is. Download that, and most of them are free. And then if you want to go deeper, they cost a little bit of money. So you can download them and do a trial, see if you like it. If not, download another one, and just kind of go through with that.
Yeah, but just for a few dollars, Shirley, you can have exactly what you need.
Yeah.
And if you needed a consult, we're more than happy to come by for lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could. That'll be a VIP lunch. Since I'm not letting anyone eat in here, so yeah, I'm just doing the free meals inside. Yeah.
We may have to call out tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can do curbside pickup
Okay.
Thank you, Shirley.
or delivery.
We'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Yeah, but thank you. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Seeing that we were looking for something a little different besides just still pictures.
Yeah.
Trying to get a message out.
Yeah, it's so much more engaging, especially on your social media. You do a good job on your social media. I follow you. And the videos are really going to help bring it alive for you, much more so than the still pictures. I mean, still pictures of your food are great. And makes me want to go there now, matter of fact. But, if you could really bring it to life, if you can have some of your testimonials from your customers that are willing to do that for you, that would be another great way to reel it in. You're getting great reviews over there, by the way. So, encouraging people to do that for you, right there with them, make it easy. And if you need some help, reach out. We're more than happy to help you with that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to get something with the soca music in the background.
Nice.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I see Josh Turner also showed his pretty face.
Oh, thank you. A question I have, I started playing around on OBS and I got a USB mic and am I overcomplicating it? Am I going the wrong way?
No, you're fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Making things sound better is always good. OBS is super powerful too, to be able to do multiple things with it.
Yeah, that small investment in an external microphone makes a world of difference. Audio is it. People are used to, video stalling or some things like that, and they'll keep watching. But if the audio's bad, they tune out every single time. They don't have a tolerance for it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
But I have another question with the music. So I noticed sometimes they block if you have music on some platforms.
Yeah, so
you
that's
have
going to copyright, and that I've shared a little bit with iMovie. They basically have a whole library called royalty-free music, to where you can post it, and the bots that are running on Facebook and Instagram and all that, they won't block you, because basically these artists have said, hey, this music is open for anyone to share. I'm not going to accept any money from it. It's free. Here you go.
What's the name of it?
What was that? Sorry.
What's the name?
So that's with the iMovie on the iPhone. But you can search on Google for like royalty-free music, and there's a ton of things out there that you can use. So,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Maybe not. Okay, well, everybody's busy, so we will wrap this up. Again, this will be on YouTube, on the Chamber YouTube channel. So we will send out a link to that tomorrow or Monday, depending on when we get it up there. But I do want to thank John and Rick for providing this information and helping our participants and other folks in the future on YouTube learn how to better share their story and how to promote and grow their brands. So gentlemen, we thank you very much, and thank you for helping us figure out how to do videos on a budget.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Same to you. Thank you.